The name that has cropped up this week, Greta Thunberg, a young girl about 13 or 14 who is an activist, suddenly been thrust onto the world stage pushing for climate change. So I decided to look into the background and let's see if this is an ordinary child. Well, her mother is an international opera singer and her father is an actor. Not a good start. Now, on August the 20th last year, Thunberg, who had just started 9th grade, decided not to attend school during the 2018 Swedish general election on September the 9th, and she protested instead by sitting outside the Riksdag every day during school hours with the sign "School Strike for the Climate." Then in October, Thunberg's activism evolved from solitary protesting to taking part in demonstrations throughout Europe. The UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres has endorsed the school strikes initiated by the 14-year-old Greta Thunberg. Then in November, Thunberg and her family drove an electric car to London, where she addressed the Declaration of Rebellion organised by Extinction Rebellion opposite the Houses of Parliament in London. November the 24th last year, she spoke at TEDx Stockholm. Then Thunberg went on and addressed the COP24 United Nations Climate Change Summit on December the 4th, and also spoke before the plenary assembly on December the 12th, and then she appeared to have a bit of a rest until the 23rd of January, where she arrived in Davos, yes, for that summit, and spoke there. February the 21st, she spoke at a conference of the European Economic and Social Committee and to European Commission Chief Jean-Claude Juncker, where she demanded that to still meet the climate goals, the EU must reduce their CO2 emissions by at least 80% by 2030. Then she joined the climate protests in Brussels. Like that happens in real life. A child decides to not go to school and gets away with it. In the real world, what happens is the CPS steps in, removes the child and sends it to foster parents without recourse from the parents or the lawyers. That's the real world. These people think we're stupid. But where is the child prodigy on child sex trafficking, child sacrifices or organ harvesting? No, they only wheel them out for their programmes, you see, like Hogg and the Parkland School Crew. Another load of kids let off school to campaign on their behalf. And this young girl is being played as a pawn. It's all down because it's not part of the programme, you see. Surely there's nothing better than a child standing up and talking to the UN, the European Economic, the Houses of Parliament, etc., at Davos, talking about child sex trafficking and child sacrifices and organ harvesting. No, it doesn't work that way, you see. But climate change is another way of the old system trying to claim resources of each country because they don't have access to the trust funds anymore. Take note of the date when it was set up. And this is why, with our notification to Trump, that Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement. It's got little to do with climate and everything to do with claiming 2% of every country's GDP to keep their system of harvesting going. And this young girl is being used as a pawn. see through it.